Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Down South Sports Fanatics. Hope everybody's going to like the show. We got a lot of topics to touch on today. I got my co-host over here, Mr. H-Town Chris Houston himself.
Celebrating the victory. It's only preseason. Celebrating victory.
And of course, the voice himself, straight up Dave Robbins.
What's up, guys? I went with the PBR instead of the cucumber water this week.
Is that why you look so much fuller?
Maybe so. I know. I feel like I'm wider now in here. I've just gained 10 pounds with this one beer.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, look, let's dive into it. Chris, did you attend the game this weekend?
I did.
And what was your thoughts?
Really fun. We started really early. Went to walk-ons. Had a few beers.
What's up, Sluggo? What's up, Lance? I don't mean to talk over you. I always send a shout out to our viewers. Go ahead, keep going.
Got into the game pretty early. Got to get up close down by the field there. We were like row 17. But fun overall. Was impressed with Stroud. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Winston looked a little decent. I was waiting for an earthquake, but that didn't happen. He looked okay. Jake Hayner impressed me with his rushing ability. I'll say that.
Really?
That little sucker can move, man.
I was kind of disappointed in his accuracy. I guess his decision making. You know, he looked a little flustered. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you think, Dave? I know that's your guy, Dave.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying he's ever going to be the future quarterback of the Saints, but I think, like, I saw people on, like, it's funny how the fans turn really quickly, like, on discussion forums. It's like last week everybody's ready to cut Jameis and go with Hayner as number 2. Hayner, goes back to being a little bit of a rookie. He makes some mistakes. He, misses some open guys, that sort of thing, But, I mean, dude, the kid has some potential. Like, I was hearing people saying about cutting him, and, I mean, that's silly. This kid, he's a project. He's going to be a 2 to 3 year project. I mean, Jameis has been in the league 9 freaking years. I mean, if he can't beat the second and third stringers in preseason, Hayner, we can't have such crazy expectations for this kid. We just got to let him grow and mature as a player.
I mean, to me, he had a really good camp, but to me, like, Chris was shaking his head. It just Sunday. He just looked disappointing. It looked like he was lost at times. He was like, the pressure was getting to him. It looked like the stage was a little, even though it was a preseason game, it looked like the stage was a little too big for him at this time. That's all.
I mean, Chris, what do you think? I think D'Amico, to me, Richie, I was going to ask Chris this because, D'Amico, he played his ones out there a little bit longer, and that makes sense to me because you have a rebuilding team. You're trying to find yourselves, and, it's smart to run some plays you're going to be running in the regular season. The Saints had a little more of a vanilla approach, if that made any sense. But he saw some good looks from that, from that defense, that, stuff that he's going to see in regular season football if he ever gets that opportunity.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It was really the Saints, like second and third stringers going against Houston's, for the most part, ones. So, the victory I'll celebrate, but it's not like I'm not right.
No, I'm going to say this, Chris. C.J. Stroud was really impressive to me. That throw downfield where Taylor was able to get a hand on it or a fingertip on it, whatever it was, that was a heck of a throw, man. That was really impressive to me. This guy's got something. I think he's going to be the best rookie quarterback.
Hey, let me send a shout out to my nephew who's watching right now out there in ATL. Unfortunately, he is a Falcons fan, but he is a Plymouth, so I gotta excuse him.
There you go. Hey, look, Falcons have there's a little more excitement down there in the ATL, than what's been happening in the last, half decade or so.
Yeah. It's just, it's hard having family rooting for your arch rival. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Good night.
Oh, yeah.
So listen, guys, I want to dive in a little bit about today's cut. Some was surprising, some wasn't. I think I tried to look it up, and there's some reports that he was cut. There's some reports they're bringing it back. Some reports he wasn't. Jalen Smith, has it been officially released by the Saints?
I think he's cut.
Okay, because he wasn't on the initial cut list. That's why I was looking it up. I'm like, whoa, what's going on?
It was maybe about an hour or two later.
Okay.
I'm sorry, maybe about an hour ago or 2 hours ago, he was officially.
But there are reports that the Saints are going to try to bring him back.
I thought he played pretty good.
I did too. I thought he played really good.
Let me ask you guys this: out of with the Jalen Smith, with his cut, one thing came to mind. I'm not sure. I haven't watched this guy much in this preseason, but a familiar name, man. A guy we've known for, he's fallen on some hard times lately, but he's a New Orleans native. LSU guy, Deion
Yeah.
Jones, got cut today. And I started thinking immediately, I said, hey, is there any, correlation to what's happening here with Jalen Smith? Because Deion Jones is out there. And Deion has always been a great athlete, but I don't know what's happened to this guy. He went from being one of the better linebackers in his early days to a guy that's, the Falcons moved on from. And if Carolina's cutting this guy, what's the issue? But I wonder if the Saints are taking a glance at him.
I tell you what, it's funny you say that because when I heard the report on my way home from work, I thought the exact same thing, Dave. I'm like, what happened to this guy? He was one of the top linebackers in the league. And
he was always a great athlete. He could run, man. He was a very athletic linebacker.
I mean, Chris, did you hear anything about it? I mean, I
didn't hear him get cut. I mean, I remember when he was with Atlanta, and he was a beast.
I didn't even know he was with Carolina in Carolina's camp.
That either. I had no clue. It's
he
been
was
a while since I've really heard his name.
And I think he was a rookie in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or 2015, somewhere in there.
Well, listen, my boy Bobby Truley says, "Let's go Titan." Boy, you need to stop. He's a Packers fan. Just because you lost your prima donna Aaron Rodgers, don't give up hope. I mean, they're going to win at least 5 games this year. Don't worry about it.
The Titans aren't even a real franchise. They came from Houston.
Wait, so there's a Tennessee and a Packers fan here? There's a Titans and Packers fan here?
You know what? If you combine the Titans and the Packers wins, they're probably going to be right under 10 together.
I hear you. And I do like Romeo Doubs there, man, on the Packers. I think he's a good receiver, man. I like their defense. Jordan Love's going to be fun to watch, man. I want to see what happens.
He is. Yeah, all joking aside, I'm looking at Jordan Love, man. I tell you what, I picked him up in my fantasy league this year because we're in a salary cap league, and he was very cheap. But I tell you what, I got high hopes for that guy, and I'm glad he's finally getting a start. I really am.
After 12 years, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that long, but it's
these guys, I find these rookies when they come in and they with these they're behind these Hall of Famer quarterbacks, just sit back, take in the moment, man, and learn. Don't run your mouth. And I think that's what Love did. He's like, you know what? This is Aaron freaking Rodgers. Let me sit back and take the input,
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Imagine the Saints drafting Lamar Jackson and him sitting behind Drew Brees. Well, that may be a sore subject, Richie.
When Marcus Davenport's on the board, you got to go scope that guy up, right?
Well, man, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool.
Oh, my God. I tell you what, I came across – after I watched all the preseason. I recorded games. I watched them, of course, because of fantasy. But I tell you what, I looked at it. What's up, my boy, Brian Dallas? We got some new people joining us. Listen, I want to tell you this. I mean, I came away from thinking there might be some surprising teams winning divisions that I didn't think they was going to win.
Like who?
Yeah.
I honestly listen. Y'all gonna give me some heat on this, but I honestly think right now, if I had to go into it, I think Pittsburgh is the best team in that division.
I seen them get picked earlier, but I'm not buying it. I can't buy it.
That defense is ferocious, and I tell you what, Kenny Pickett is playing out of his mind. I mean, I know it's preseason.
I like Pickett. Hey, Chris, we talked about Pickett. I mean, I love what they're doing on the defense. Young players, Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of talent. And Najee Harris has to bounce back, though. And I like George Pickens a lot. Man, I think Pickens has a chance to be a really good receiver. But, yeah, man. I mean, look, no, don't get me wrong, Richie. I'm not saying Pittsburgh will be bad. I think it'll be a lot closer race, but I still got Cincy pulling it off. But I think they make it really interesting. I think they fight for a wild card for sure.
What's up, my boy Tony? We got him coming all over the place tonight, man. That's a who that boy right there. What up, Tony Dinner? Man,
is that like your sleeper, Richie, or what? Is that like kind of your divisional sleeper, or what?
No, I mean, like I said, I paid attention to all of the fantasy. I mean, the game this year because I want to keep up with a lot of stuff. And and we've all agreed the league is really changing. So it's, I mean, like we just said about Deion, it's like I didn't even know he was on the Carolinas team. I'm like, what? Yeah. What is?
I think
go ahead, Chris.
I think teams progress a lot faster in the NFL. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, you can have a really horrible year one year, and in about a year or two, you're like you flip. Yeah. You're back in the playoffs. Not like Dave knows. Like we talk about baseball. Yeah. Baseball's it takes a little bit of a process to get going. Yeah. But football, man, you 1 or 2 drafts and you can get in there and sneak in at least a wild card spot. Starts with the quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I was just basically saying about Pittsburgh, a few other teams. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I have Jacksonville winning their division, but I think a team may push them.
Oh, there'll be some surprises, Rich. I still think Washington's a little bit more of a sleeper than what people give them credit for. I think they're going to be a very surprising team in the NFC. I mean, the Eagles are ridiculous on paper, but I think Washington's going to put up a little fight in that division.
I think they should have traded for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
they were talking about that.
Yeah.
Who, Washington?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Washington's assembling a lot of young talent really fast, man. I mean,
talking about that. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. Talking about that, I think Jonathan Taylor got a raw deal. I think that was a bunch of phony baloney from the owner. That was no way he was trading him.
No. Yeah,
it's a can't-win situation right now. Yeah, it's a bad situation. Irsay's a nut job. Taylor's going to miss 4 games to start the season now.
I mean, they put him on a pub. Teams are skeptical about him being hurt or not. It's just like they just put a bit. I think the owner did him a raw deal.
That is kind of
absolutely
what we were talking about the last show, the show before that. A lot of these owners, they're in cahoots, so to say.
Yes, I agree. Yep.
And now Jonathan Taylor at age, I don't know, 24, 25, somewhere right around.
24 years old.
But I guarantee you, he's going to get one more good payday, and that's probably about it. That's the sad truth. And hopefully it's not a payday with the Colts.
I agree with you, Lance. Lance said Colts organization is trash.
It absolutely is.
That ownership is trash.
Well, look what they did with Matt Ryan. They tried Wentz, they tried Matt Ryan, this Taylor situation. I mean, I think they, just the coaching moves. I don't know, man. They've been a joke, for a while now. I mean, ever since Andrew Luck, once he left, man, it's just they've never been the same.
What's up, Steve? But look, I tell you what. Over the weekend, since we're talking about franchises, over the weekend, I had the draft in my house, and we were all talking about the situation going on with Joe Burrow. And one of my friends brought it up, and I didn't realize it because I completely forgot about it. How bad the ownership used to be in Cincinnati, and they're still there.
Right.
That they literally in the 80s and 90s this dude was so cheap he would charge the players bottled water.
Look at Arizona. Isn't there something like that going on in Arizona right now?
What's up, Lewis? Who that?
I think Arizona's just tanking. I just think they're tanking Caleb Williams. That's
absolutely.
I mean, when ownership does that don't say much. That's not a good feeling about you're about to pay your quarterback $300 million.
No, it's a tough situation, man. It really is.
I may be getting off on the Bengals thing here, but you said Arizona. I want to know where Kyler Murray goes.
Yeah.
Well, you seen they cut Colt McCoy this morning.
Yeah.
Right.
I think basically Arizona's telling you they tanking it. They're gonna tank it and tank it until they can't tank it no more.
Well, I mean, to me, I didn't understand the Isaiah Simmons trade at all. I mean, Isaiah Simmons is a guy with such a big, high ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's talent is unreal back at Clemson. I mean,
that's exactly what we're talking about. They make it an obvious.
They got hosed on that deal. It was a weak deal. I mean, they could. Why trade a guy like that with so much upside who's young?
If I'm the Saints, I think they need to go trade for Budda Baker.
Yeah, I say he's going to be the next one. Going. Yeah.
If they're serious about getting to the wild card.
Yeah. I tell you what, as we're talking about teams that are tanking it, did you hear the reports out of LA with the Rams that they about Stafford? Can you believe that?
I heard that. He has
what's happening here?
He's too old school. He's not connecting with the younger players.
They're all on their phones after practice and stuff.
And he's not a guy like that. He's not on social media. He don't do none of that stuff.
He says he's like the father figure now, and he's trying to build a relationship, and they're all so young.
I hate to say it because I've always had nothing but respect for Stafford. Really, the guy's handled himself with nothing but class. Even with a franchise that just didn't put people around him, he still handled himself with class. But I tell you, man, I think this is the beginning and the end for Stafford. I really do.
Yeah, I think the Rams are fixing to be tenfold, rebuilding fast.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard.
They started becoming like the Yankees, signing players left and right.
Big time. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, man.
And Donald's not going to be around much longer. Ramsey's already gone. Cooper Kupp, is already he's got to be 30, around 30-ish. So yeah, I mean, it's the writing's on the wall. Stafford, I think, I don't know. He took a lot of abuse early in his career. He had the elbow issue. I don't see Stafford playing into his 40s like some of these other guys. So yeah, it's gonna turn soon over there.
Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, and Stafford is a big family guy, and He loves being a dad. He's already been on record of that. He don't want to. Actually, he don't want to play until he's 40. He said. A lot of these guys, a lot of these younger guys said they don't want to play into their 40s.
And look, I mean, he's made a ton of money. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made multiple Pro Bowls. He's had a really great career.
I don't know if this is right or not, but I think his wife just had some of her cancer come back.
Yes. She did. Yep.
And that's a situation you could see where he just calls it quits. I mean, and nobody could blame him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
They say Stetson Bennett from Georgia is playing.
Yeah.
Well, he was playing really good in the preseason.
And he's already like 32 years old, basically.
He is a little old.
He's a little what is he, like 26 or 27 or something?
Yeah.
But it may help. It may help the transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I tell you what, look, talking about cuts today, man, I was surprised Bradley Roby got cut, man.
We talked about that too, Rich. I want to say we all kind of put him on a bubble a little bit, but we didn't expect it to happen. But I mean, they're that confident, I guess, in that trio. With Lattimore, Debo, and Alontae Taylor.
I just don't think. I mean, I like Alontae Taylor. I just don't think he's ready yet. I really don't.
But that at times, I think the positional change for him is going to take a little getting used to. But I mean, at times last year, dude, he was really impressive. I mean, he's got all the skills. I think he's got great instincts. I think he's just got to get used to playing in a little slot role. I think he's the type of guy. I mean, the coaching staff, you got to figure they got some confidence letting a guy like Roby go. But and another guy too. I mean, it goes to show you how deep our secondary is. I mean, you let Roby go. You also let Jonathan Abram go, who to me is a guy. I thought the Saints would give him a little run in this linebacker kind of hybrid role, you know what I mean? Like almost like a DJ Swearinger, almost like Chauncey years ago. Have that guy doing a few different things back there. Because he's not the best cover guy, but he can hit somebody. So he covers that short area pretty well.
Bring that, Fatty, if you won't mind, bring up that quote Tony just put up about the kickers. So Tony just commented about the two rookie kickers.
About Group A?
Yeah. What y'all thought on that? Man, I knew for a fact I actually drafted Groupie this weekend in my fantasy league because of salary, and I knew something was happening, because where there's smoke, there's fire. So, and then sure enough, it happened today. But I think honestly, I think Groupie outkicked Lutz. I don't know if y'all did. I mean, if y'all think that
he looked good. I mean, it's a kicker. I don't get too
right.
Well, you know what, but Chris, people say that about kickers until that game's on the line for that winning field goal.
True. If you're missing 3, 4 kicks, we got problems. And
you got to remember this. And you got to remember this too, right, Chris? I mean, the Saints guy who hit the most clutch kicks in our team's history was a dude we picked up, off the waiver wire. I mean, Garrett Hartley was picked up the year before, off the scrap heap. Nobody knew who this guy was out of Oklahoma, and he ends up kicking the most important field goals in our team's history. Not Morton Anderson, not Tom Dempsey. Not Will Lutz, but freaking Garrett Hartley,
What a great question is, who is the worst kicker in the NFL? Not the best. Who would be the worst?
Because that's the guy that's going to cost you some games. He's going to move the needle more than the best kicker, it seems.
I don't know who the worst kicker, number one, how do you get that many chances to suck?
You just don't want that guy. If you got a middle of the road kicker, you're okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't need freaking Justin Tucker. I mean, you know what I mean?
Correct. But who in the hell is the worst kicker in the league?
Right now? I couldn't answer that question, to be honest with you. I'd say of all time, Aguayo was pretty bad.
And and look, at least we got the thing about it is people said, "Oh, you only got a 7th round pick out of it." I honestly think.
What the hell they thought they were going to get?
Listen, I honestly think he was going to get cut. I do. So you wouldn't have got nothing from him anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, take the 7th and roll with it. I mean, dude, Lutz. Here's the problem with Lutz. Lutz had a really nice run with the Saints. He made a Pro Bowl, but after that groin injury or whatever was going on, where he missed,
he's never been the same, Dave. He's never been the same.
Yeah, and he's got this kid in there. He's showing leg in preseason. He's young. He's been talking less. He's younger.
Listen, even my fiance, who don't even watch remotely as much sports as we do, said that was a good move the Saints did. They finally cut him. I said, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. He, if you can't depend on him, if you look Richie, I'm not saying I discount the kicker entirely, but like you said, if Lutz, isn't that same clutch dude, if you got to worry about him hitting a 50-yarder, if his leg strength isn't there, then I mean, why not go to this kid?
Yeah.
Number one, who trades for a kicker? Number two, Who gets a draft pick for a kicker?
Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Sean Payton.
Well, Sean Payton's on another level.
Shit,
He's
imagine
just-
if this was
he's
years
just-
ago and this was Tampa. You know, I mean, we could have maybe got a second for him. You know, I mean, didn't they draft Aguayo in the first round?
Hey, listen,
Or
Lance
second round or
Lance made a good point too. By trading them, you got to pick and you save money because you don't have to worry about his money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wonder what Sean Payton would give to trade for Jameis Winston.
I tell you what, you joking? He might trade for Taysom Hill.
Well, that's the one guy that has been thrown around a lot, dude. I mean, hey, I'll tell you this.
Thank you, Fatty.
An interesting scenario would be if Russell Wilson went down early in the season. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Sean Payton would be on the phone with the Saints. Now, I really believe that. I know this is a lot of hypotheticals here, and we're kind of playing fantasy land.
I'm wondering
lost for the season.
Since we're gonna play, since Jimmy Graham made the team, and Taysom Hill also made the team, made the team.
Yeah.
How are you going to play both these guys in spot duty? That's what I'm worried about.
See, to me, Taysom's still going to be Taysom. I don't see in preseason. I heard some people saying, "Oh, they're not." Well, Hill's been banged up. You know, he's just resting. He doesn't need to be out there, honestly. And my thing is this: I think when the season starts, you're not going to see as much of Taysom in that wildcat role because you got a better quarterback situation. But I still put that dude in a red zone with Jamal Williams. I mean, these dudes ran the read option together at BYU. Listen, man, Taysom's going to get a lot of run at that wildcat. And in the goal line situations, dude, he's as unstoppable. He's the most money player in the league in short yardage. I mean, he's like almost automatic. So, I mean, I think he still gets out there, Richie. He plays special teams. He can line up a receiver. He can block out of a fullback role even. I mean, there'll be some tight end, jet sweep type things going on. I think you'll find ways to play Taysom. I mean, the problem, you can't sit the guy because he affects the game too much. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to be out there somewhere.
I think he's very useful, especially if y'all get into very important games where they're must win and you're down by maybe 3 points or so, or you're in a wild card game and it's a must win. You've got a weapon like him. You can really scramble up the defense. You can use his tight end, quarterback, fullback, running back, and he runs hard.
Yeah. I mean, look at your running game last year in that Cleveland game when Deshaun Watson debuted. I mean, like, we couldn't do anything offensively. And then Taysom Hill comes in and just takes over the game,
Yeah. So listen,
I mean, he's got that ability.
Chris, what were some of your surprising cuts for your Texans?
Well, no, I wasn't going to touch on the Texans on cuts just because they cut a lot of young players. Maybe Desmond King. He was a borderline slot cornerback 2 for us. Garrett Wallow, which was a draft pick last year. Other than that, it was just a lot of young players they cut. It wasn't anybody major. You got to remember, there's not a lot of names on the roster just yet. But I would probably say Desmond King was the most surprising, and they signed him to a 2-year deal last offseason. So that was a little surprising. But I'll say my most shocking cuts has to be the Patriots.
Bailey Zappi, huh?
Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham.
Yeah. We were just talking about that guy.
So who are they signing and who are they going to trade for?
Look, remember, wasn't Pancho questioning me about Carson Wentz on it last year? Watch Carson Wentz will end up with a job before week 2. I promise you.
You know, Belichick loves them veterans, man. He loves a guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's interesting you're going into – because Mac Jones wasn't all that hot last year.
No,
Matt Jones looked bad last year. He looked bad last year.
Yeah. Zappi actually looked like he was outplaying him at times.
He was actually throwing temper tantrums on the sideline and stuff.
Yeah, hey, that's a good call, Rich. So I mean, Belichick's not going to go for that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Let's be real.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall for him. I really do.
Now, if I'm somebody, I would like to pick up Malik Cunningham. That guy's a little dynamic player, man. I saw him.
Keep an eye on Sean Payton with that guy.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So what did talking about quarterbacks? What did y'all think about the Trey Lance trade? I mean, they gave up a 4th to get him. And then the owner comes out and said he didn't even tell his quarterback or the coach about the trade because it was none of their business. I'm like, what?
Go ahead, Dave. You want to?
No. Good.
Yeah.
I think it sucks because a lot of it had to do with timing. It looks really bad now, obviously.
Yeah.
But no one suspected Brock Purdy to come in and be what he became. and he was just getting hurt and hurt. And as you know, it's all about winning.
I still think Trey Lance got a raw deal. That's just me.
But Richie, I think with Chris, like me and Chris talked about this too. It's almost like it's not to the same degree, obviously, because the outcome wasn't there. But it's like you couldn't go back to Drew Bledsoe, as great as he was as a quarterback, once Tom Brady did what he did. You know what I'm saying? Or Aaron Brooks. You can't go back to Jeff Blake after Aaron Brooks did what he did. And I think, like Chris said, just bad timing. Purdy just came out of nowhere, and their kids. There's no denying that he could play. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I just think Trey Lance. I think developed right, given the time, I think Trey Lance can be a good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, no, I would never give up on the kid. I just think he's the situation.
I don't like how Kyle Shanahan handles any of his quarterback situations. I'm sorry, I don't, because he thinks it's all about him. He really does.
Well, yeah, because that's what, Garoppolo wasn't given the best of deals either. I mean, this guy got into the Super Bowl and they were ready to, they did all this stuff to get this rookie. So it really started with Garoppolo, you know what I mean? Getting kind of hosed,
I tell you what, dude, I wouldn't have mind. If I would have known that they was going to trade him for a fourth rounder, I wouldn't have been scared for the Saints to give him a fourth rounder for Trey Lance.
Why not, dude? Why not? Him and Isaiah Simmons were the two trades that happened recently. I'm like, I wish the Saints would have been in on either one of those guys.
Yep.
I'm shocked the Cowboys made the trade. That kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah,
I don't care what nobody says. I don't think Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott get along. I don't care what nobody says.
There's something raw there.
Because if you listen to Dak Prescott's interviews, he throws a lot of shade towards that ownership.
I think Dak gets a little bit of a raw deal too, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we all don't like the Cowboys, but I think Dak's a pretty solid quarterback. I mean, he hasn't gone over that hump yet.
Did you hear what he says? Did you hear what he said? They asked him, "Were you surprised about the trade?" He said, "What do you mean? We're talking about the Cowboys here. Nothing surprises me about this ownership." That's exactly what he said.
That's a great answer.
I mean, if that ain't throwing shade, I don't know what is.
I don't know.
Oh, look, if he's willing to trade Dak Prescott, you'll have a lot of teams lined up in the next year or so.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Fatty, when you get a chance, bring up the NOFA flyer I sent you. So I can share it. But I just think Jerry Jones. I think that's really why they haven't really won. I mean, I think it's more about him than it is the team, the coaching, the players.
It's just an ego.
Yeah, it is. So listen, guys, listen, I'm sharing this flyer for NOFA. It's Casting for a Cause, September 16th. If you want some sponsorship, please reach out to NOFA. It's NOFA. No one fights alone. You can go on Facebook, their website, anything. I'm gonna share this flyer on our page later, or you can share with others. If you want sponsorship, please reach out to them. It's for a great cause. Thank you, Fatty, for that.
Awesome.
Oh man, I tell you. So what y'all look. So what we're gonna dive into right now is a little bit of LSU, because people have been asking me. Y'all probably more LSU guys than me, but I'm just joking.
Chris is probably the king LSU guy out of this group, I would say, for sure.
I will say this: they're favored. They are favored -2.5. I'm taking that all day.
So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Them starting Diggs at running back.
Diggs at running back. I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
Not aware of that.
Yeah, believe it or not, that dude is serious, dude. He's 5'10", 220 pounds.
Diggs at
NFL body, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see something.
And see, to me, Richie, that's the hard thing. And it's funny because, I know people have asked me the same thing, about analyzing. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be real. Yeah. Analyzing college, to me, early in the season is so tough. Like the pros, we know these teams' identities. The same players have been there for 5+ years. College, these guys are here for a year or 2, 3 years or whatever.
You say, Chris? Go ahead, Chris.
I thought it was Josh Williams that was starting.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. I looked at it just now. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. But I see Logan Diggs on there, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't know much about Josh Williams. The 3 players I can tell you I'm watching a lot of, obviously, is Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors.
I looked up. I had a chance because I wanted to dial, because people were asking me about the quarterback comparison, of course, with LSU and with Jaden Daniels. And what I like about Jaden Daniels, let me tell you what, his completion percentage was 68% last year.
Mm-hmm.
He got a lot better.
He got a lot better. The one thing I think,
turnovers.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Good. No, good.
No, I was saying 2 years ago, this guy had 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? So he cleaned up the turnovers last year. That's for sure.
He had exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. He had 17 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it was amazing, dude. He had 11 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, he can run. That kid can keep some plays alive.
Most people don't realize, dude, he ran for 885 yards rushing last year.
That's
for the quarterback.
Yeah. It's like some Justin Fields type numbers.
So he's definitely a dual threat quarterback. But I do think he needs running that system. It's a running system for a quarterback, kind of. I think that's the running system that he mostly runs. But I think he's gonna have to throw a little more touchdowns, kind of be in the 20 to 25 touchdown range.
I think he needs to probably do a little bit more than that if he's going to win the Heisman.
Well, if he's rushing, you got to add that on too, Chris.
Yeah. I think 17 touchdowns.
If he throws for 25 touchdown passes and he rushes for 11, that's a lot.
Now,
right, it's all about team success too. I mean,
he had 11 touchdown rushes, 11 rushing touchdowns. I don't know why I got tongue twisted. And then he had 17 passing.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he's pretty damn dynamic. I have to say that.
Yeah.
885 yards. That's nearly 1,000 yards.
Well, Lance just brought up O-line play is going to be critical for LSU this year.
Absolutely. Look who's on the other side, Richie. I mean, you got Jared Verse, who's probably he's listed on the big board already for the 24 draft. I mean, I know it's way too early, and I don't like to get too technical with that, but this dude's a top 8 prospect at defensive end. I mean, he had 9 sacks last year. I looked at his tape earlier today to try to get more familiar with him, and I mean, dude, he looks like an NFL defensive end. He's got power, he's got speed, good first move. He's a guy you got to keep an eye on all game long, man, on that defense.
So I tell you, man. So is it going to be? You think a close game this weekend?
I think so. I think last year was close. What, is it a 1-point game last year or what?
Yeah, that's when Jaden Daniels was really
he was a little more raw. Yeah.
I'm taking. They got the over and under at 56. Last year, the game was 24-23, so right at 47.
What's the spread, Chris?
2.5 LSU.
That's kind of.
Let me ask you, have y'all looked at that Florida State offense a little bit? Has anybody? I haven't dived into it completely, but I'd say the running back.
Actually, Dave, they're known for their defense.
Well, no, but that running back they got, goodness. The quarterback, Jordan Travis. Yeah, he's like a 6th year of college football. I mean, he's been around forever. And they're expecting big things from that kid over there in Tallahassee. He's supposed to be they're anointed. I mean, he's got a little bit of mixed criticism from what I'm seeing from people. But in Tallahassee, they really believe in this kid.
I'm hoping the weather don't play a factor in this game neither.
Well, yesterday you got a Category 2 storm or whatever it is right now. That's going to be nearby.
I mean, even if it makes landfall as a tropical storm, it's going to dump a lot of rain and bring a lot of that.
And does it deter any LSU fans from making that trip? Possibly.
Well, I got a bunch of LSU friends that are leaving tomorrow. They a couple of them said they had to change their flights because someone was flying in Tampa. And other places, and they did have to change their flights. So that plays a big factor in it.
But Richie, there's also, and Chris, you might know this guy offhand. Maybe I can't think of his name. It's losing me. I looked at his tape too earlier today, and I can't think of his name. But the running back they have, he's considered like a top 4 or 5 back in the country. And I cannot picture his name, but he had a really good year last year. He was a transfer from Oregon a couple years ago. He had what's his name?
Trey Benson.
Oh, good. Benson, yeah. Benson. Yeah.
What was his stats last year, Chris? Bring him up.
He was pretty damn impressive. He averaged like 6.5 yards a carry. I think he didn't hit 1,000 yards, but he was close.
So and look, Florida's known for their offensive linemen, man. They always got stuff.
Well, the thing to look at this kid, he's got the best missed tackle rate in the country last year.
And it's and people forget about that when it comes to a running back.
Yeah.
Is the yards after first contact. That goes a long ways,
And LSU's going to be missing a key starter on that side of the ball as well with that suspension of old boy.
It's going to be, I tell you what, I think the game, Chris don't think it's going to be that close. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people.
I think it's week 1 as a feeling out period. And like we talked about, this isn't like pro teams that have their identity. These are college teams, and it's kind of like there's an identity level there, but there's so many variables, man, coming in with these kids. You got a lot of 19, 20-year-old kids, And it's a little tricky, man. It's a big spotlight game. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying LSU won't win the game, but I think it's going to be a little more of a nail bite. I don't think it's a blowout.
I tell you what, my friend Tony just wanted me to dive in and ask me about what I thought about USC. Well, let me tell you what, I was disappointed. I really was. Even though they won the game, I think they started off slow. I still don't have no faith in that defense. The line, the offensive line play, I was weary of. I think that that Caleb Williams is running around a lot more. I mean, I know it was the first game, but I'm gonna continue to say it. I bleed USC, but I'm a realist when it comes to my team. And they shouldn't be ranked 6th in the country. I'm sorry, just because of a quarterback. I'm sorry. Well, as good as Caleb Williams is, the rest of the team is horrible. And that's the reality.
It's almost the way I felt about the Saints before they went and got Derek Carr. I was this close to wanting to rebuild, and I think people are thinking, "Hey, why are you saying that?" Because you got to be realistic, and you got to if you're there's a lot of enablers out there who just go with the flow. But I mean, when an organization or a college program's going bad, you got to know. You know what I'm saying? You got to correct things. You know what I'm saying? You can't be immune to what's really happening.
Listen, and I'm being serious when I say this. I know everybody jokes and clowns with me. But just like with everybody else, I'm serious when it comes to my team. All they did was take a great quarterback and put him on a bad team. That's all they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, they got a lot of holes from what it sounds like. I mean, from what it looks like on tape, there's a superstar and there's a lot of mediocrity.
There's no way they finishing in the top 10 by the end of the year. There's no way, no how.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this isn't like a Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Dwayne Jarrett.
I'm telling you right now, I tell you, I'm a realist when it comes to my team. Notre Dame is gonna run them off the field. Watch.
Notre Dame I know it was Navy and I know it was in Ireland and that was a game they were supposed to win, but Notre Dame looked impressive. That little running back, the dude with the weird name, looked really good. They got one of them older 24-year-old quarterbacks too, the transfer kid. He looked really sharp. I watched some of that game, Richie, and Notre Dame looks. Hey, look, man, I know it was kind of, it's Navy or whatever, but dude, that team's going to be decent this year, Notre Dame.
I'm curious to see when these teams play other college teams other than McNeese State and Navy, and I don't even know who do USC play.
They played Fresno Chris. I mean, look who they played, and they still struggled.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is I want to see when they get to play like big boy teams, and that's going to be the interesting part.
Richie, who do they play?
Look at that. I mean, look at the article and I don't disagree with that. I don't. You're not going to win. You're not going to win with just a quarterback. You're not.
I don't know.
Stop it. Stop. Now listen. Now listen to me. Now listen to me. Now you take. Now you might not get you over the top. Now you take Caleb Williams and put him on Alabama, and you see a big difference.
But why? What does Alabama have right
now? They got a lot better defense than USC's got.
I'm just saying Alabama is always going to.
Chris, you can't go into every game and have to outscore every team you play.
Absolutely, you can't.
No, but what I mean is they have to be up by 20 something. They have to be up by 3 touchdowns at halftime in order to win the game.
That's realistic. I think you have a generational quarterback that can lead you to a lot of wins. I mean, if I'm going to win the national championship, I say it's better this year than any.
So you honestly think USC is going to finish in the top 10 by the end of the season?
Yeah, just quarterback.
Absolutely. No way, no shot. No shot.
No shot at all? Come on.
No shot. Nope.
I agree with Chris on this thing. It doesn't look like there's a lot of wide open teams. It's a wide open scenario.
I want to be my boy Stephen Buquois is asking where you're from, Chris, in Houston.
Oh, you better believe it. It's H-Town.
No, he said he asked where you're from. He asked where you're from.
I am from Houston.
Okay,
in Houston. I'm sorry. Okay.
His son lives in Houston.
I got you. I was raising a lot of hell in my 20s in Sugar Land, Texas. But I grew up in a small little town called Wharton, Texas, kind of close to Bay City and El Campo. But my raising days were in Sugar Land, Texas, which is about south of Houston.
How many Whataburgers out there, man? Way more than here, that's for sure.
Yeah. Every time I had something from there, it was good. I don't care what nobody said.
Oh, no, I love Whataburger, dude. We
If
always
anyone
joke with
wants
that
to get
shit.
on here and debate Whataburger versus
He said he was just in the Cypress area.
Cypress, Cypress by Richmond or Cypress up north.
I don't know. He's coming. I'm lost, me, dude.
Checkers.
Now Richmond, hey Chris, I will say this: Richmond's like the strip that goes all the way towards like the Galleria, right?
Well,
Yeah.
So the Richmond I'm talking about,
Okay.
Richmond kind of. There's so many
I
different
got you.
areas in Houston. That's the problem.
The big ass freaking city. It's like the fourth biggest city in the country.
He said the
right?
north. He said north. He said north.
Yeah, okay, Cypress
Uh-oh.
North. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, he said. That's a good dude right there. Sorry, I won't be joining you in Florida this weekend, Steven, but thank you for the invitation.
Richmond is south, yeah.
Look,
That's good
oh
stuff.
my goodness. Did you see that report? I'm glad you brought that up, Fatty.
What's
We
he
just
got?
talked about that the other day.
Reggie Bush is suing the SEC and the NCAA about
Is this all about the whole him taking the gift
for
stuff or
defamation
whatever?
of character. What you mean defamation? You did it. How's it defamation of
No,
character?
wait a minute. And there is nobody in this room or on this live podcast right now that's a bigger fan than Johnny Manziel. And he got to keep
Yeah.
his.
He didn't take money.
Well, here's my thing about Reggie Bush, though. Here's my thing about Reggie. Reggie's more known for what he did in college than what he did in the pros.
Johnny
He's
Manziel
not. I don't think he's gonna win that lawsuit, man.
No,
Stop
I mean,
as
but
much.
I'm saying, like, it's like the college game didn't do him wrong. He made a superstar out of himself. Look, Reggie had a nice pro career.
Could
don't
you
get me wrong.
imagine if they had
But-
the NI deals back then when Reggie was playing? Oh my goodness.
Well, dude, here's my thing. Like Richie, I could talk about this whole thing for like an hour, but I think it's the most unfair.
Thank you, Fatty.
These universities get away with murder the way they treat players. I don't care about the
Yeah.
scholarship thing, dude. Like the guy said in that movie, what was it, the program? You don't see 80,000 people in there to see a dude do a chemistry freaking exam. You know what I'm saying? It's football and it's basketball and it's baseball, and these universities make a killing. And when you're selling a guy's number, and let's be real, we know who that number is for on these teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the biggest bunch of bullshit there is. These
Watch-
kids,
Go ahead.
Watch
they're
that
head there.
Manziel documentary.
They need a lot more.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Which is
Watch that Manziel documentary. Exactly what Dave
I did,
said.
dude. It was crazy. I watched it. It was good.
When he was up there talking about Texas A&M selling all those jerseys, they didn't have his name on the back, but you saw all those number 2 Aggie jerseys.
I tell you what, man. I'm a documentary guy, especially on these sports documentaries. Man, I watch it. I love how they get in depth about the behind the scenes stuff.
You need to watch Bishop Sycamore, not
What is
Bishop
it?
Sankey, Bishop Sycamore. Watch
Okay.
that on
That's what it
HBO
was,
Max.
okay.
Will blow your mind.
But dude, but like you said, all the Manziel jerseys,
Lance said NCAA is a bunch of pips.
Oh yeah,
they're a bunch
And
of
they're all
dick faces.
rich.
I mean, sorry, but I mean, let's be real. Like,
Oh, I
I'm
love
sorry,
it.
I don't know if I'm
I
allowed to
tell
say
you
that, but
I wish I could bring all of our viewers on the screen one day. They would have y'all laughing. I tell you, these
dude,
guys.
because I don't think there's going to be many people siding with these universities. I mean, I know some people say, "Oh, they're getting a." Let's be real, dude. A 4-year degree, there's no guarantee on that in this world anymore. It's a guarantee you're going to go in a lot of debt in many cases. But I'm saying I understand there's a full scholarship, and that's great. But dude, the universities are freaking making a killing off these guys.
Yeah,
and they can't
you're
only
right.
work so many hours. They can't even have jobs sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of those kids that aren't going to play at the next level. Let's be real. You know, so I mean,
no offense to anybody that has a degree.
yeah, and it's nothing. I mean, look, nothing against LSU,
biggest
Tulane,
scam.
anybody. Yeah,
Biggest scam in America is college.
well, but exactly. But let's be real. They're getting. They're
Wait,
making
you say
a ton of money off
you
this
think
shit.
you think college football is the biggest game?
No. College in general. The amount of classes and amount of loans and everything. You
Oh, it's big business, dude. Yeah.
Just come out, right? To come
Yeah.
out and maybe get a job that's 50, 60 grand a year.
Yeah,
Bro,
And people are going, dude, yeah.
dude. What's crazy is all these alums. How much money these guys? Good night.
Exactly. That's
They
another
put
thing,
back into
Richard.
school.
Yeah.
Do you know people don't realize? You know one of the biggest boosters are for LSU. He's pretty popular. Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say Todd Graves from Raising Cane's.
That's funny. Hey, look. Didn't that dude just? Yeah, he's. I heard he does a lot of charitable stuff there. In all honesty, Graves. But yeah, Shaq, dude, that makes sense. I mean, Shaq.
Yeah,
Let's be real. I mean, Shaq has to be the biggest name to come out of LSU in history, right? I mean,
yeah.
Ooh, Joe Burrow.
Burrow's
Joe
going to
Burrow
give him a
might
run,
be-
I think, when all said and done. Yeah. But-
Man, I don't know, man. You had some good good players come out of it.
But Shaq, man, God, he was just in his heyday, man. I mean, like
He
I still
gets
say,
back,
how did
dude. He
that team
gets
not
back.
win a
Man,
national title with
he
Shaq
does
and
have.
Chris Jackson?
I mean, he does have a statue in front of the place.
There you go. But like I said, how do you not win a Final Four with Shaq and Chris Jackson? I don't care if you had a bunch of dudes from the local high school.
Because Chris Jackson went a little cuckoo.
Well, he did start losing his shit a little bit later on, you know, with Denver and everything. But dude, he was as lights out. I mean, that dude was Steph Curry before there was Steph Curry in college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Shaq was like just ridiculous. I mean,
so listen, I wanted to dive into a few things before we get into our fantasy segment. I want y'all to be honest, and I know we got our favorites. I want y'all guys. I want the viewers to comment on who their picks are and stuff like that. I want everybody to get involved in this. Yeah. So I want to dive into, and I'm just going to keep it to 5. Who is right now you think going into this season is your top 5 quarterbacks? I'm not talking about fantasy. I just want to know reality.
Top 5 best quarterbacks, like not fantasy related.
It don't have to be. It could just straight up in the NFL. If you started your franchise, just give me top 5. I mean, take age in account. Take everything right now. 2023.
If I'm saying best 5 right now, but I'm not factoring like to build a team with, that's a different conversation for me. If I'm building a team, I think
if you started your team today, your top 5 quarterbacks.
I've got 4. I'm stuck on the 5th one because you said age.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Mahomes would be up there. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. That's the easy 3. I think Jalen Hurts is definitely in that conversation.
Those are my 4.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is certainly there.
Steven, share that to our link. In fact, you can bring that up with Steven. Just commenting. We'll share that.
And if you're taking away the age thing, like starting the team, if you just talk about for this year, I'm still pretty high on Lamar and I'm still pretty high on Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, when we talk about starting the organization right now, I got to move Lawrence and Hurts in there.
Okay. That's what because I think it's too much to dive into, like Aaron Rodgers, older guys, this, that. I think right now I want to just dive into the young talent because we said the NFL is changing, and it is just young talent right now. So if you had to go with your top 5, Chris, go ahead and start.
Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Allen, and yours truly, Justin Fields.
There you go. Fields is interesting.
Who you got? Wait, do it again. Do it slower. Let me hear you.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Hurts. Not in no particular order.
Not no, yeah.
Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Allen, Fields.
Got it. You, Chris? What'd you think, Dave?
I got the same group except for, in Fields, nothing against Fields. I think he's a heck of a player. But I'm going to switch Fields and Lawrence. That's all I would do.
I was exactly going to do the same exact thing.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I like that. Mine's going to be kind of crazy because I'm only diving into 10 games maybe with this guy.
Oh, I can't wait.
But you know who it's going to be. I don't. You don't?
I really don't. I'm like, who the hell are we talking about here?
I think mine is in no particular order is Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow,
is this Jared Goff coming in here?
And Brock Purdy.
Oh, now that's look, and man, I'm not mad at that, Richie. I'm not mad at Purdy. Purdy, you know what?
I think. Listen, I dived into it because I don't get into it. We joke and clown on here, but people don't really realize how much I'm like Chris and like you, Dave. When I'm off camera, I dive into football so heavily over the summer, dude, and I analyze. I mean, I'm obsessed with it, dude. I watch almost every play, and I have watched every single play by Brock Purdy. And
he's super intelligent.
I came away and said, you know what? This dude is going to get away just in intelligence, reading defenses, and accuracy's insane.
He's one step ahead of the defense. And I mean, it's like, look, Drew Brees isn't the prototype quarterback like some other guys as far as arm strength and whatever, but he's got like a little bit of Brees in him.
How in the hell
he gets rid of the ball quick. He sees everything developing before it happens.
How did 31 other teams miss on this guy, including me? I have no idea.
Athletic profile, Richie. I think we're so wrapped up into 40 times and arm strength, and rightfully so. I mean, people want to develop quarterbacks.
You can't do that. I mean, arguably, the greatest quarterback of all time had the worst freaking combine ever.
Yeah, and he played behind
Go
Drew
ahead,
Henson
Chris.
in college.
Go
Tom Brady. So I mean, I don't know, man. It's weird how a guy like that gets passed over.
Go ahead, Chris.
This is where I think the NFL has changed. I wish, Richie, you and I would have talked maybe like 5 years ago. You would have kind of known I was more of a traditionalist when it came to quarterbacks. But I think I have also changed with the NFL with these younger, more athletic quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And now I prop them up more than I do I call them statuesque quarterbacks. Those are just your Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, stand behind the line, read the defense's throw. They're just kind of a dying breed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's entertaining to watch guys like Fields and Mahomes. And I get more drawn to those quarterbacks than I do a Brock Purdy. So
But Purdy has a little bit of athleticism there. He'll take off if he needs to.
He can, but I like watching like a Fields, a Mahomes, a Hurts.
Right.
They just make football just – man, when I say this,
it's a cheat code almost, man. If those guys know how to execute that properly.
It is.
Can I chime in on this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Fatty. Come on.
I have a dark horse, and it was the guy I thought.
Well, bring yourself on. We want to see you. Come on.
I don't have my camera on right. I'm not made up.
Go ahead, buddy.
I swore I thought you were going to say, and this is my dark horse. That watch. I'm telling you, Russell Wilson.
Ooh.
It's not because of the play. I believe in the coach.
Honestly, Fatty, I don't think Russell Wilson finishes the year as a starting quarterback for them.
I disagree. I
disagree as well. I wouldn't start a team with Russ right now, but I think he has a bounce back here. I think
you with me, Chris?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Peyton has a winning record with starting quarterbacks. He does not have a losing record with starting quarterbacks.
Right.
Because he had Drew Brees.
Any quarterback he started won. Any quarterback started has a winning percentage record under Sean Payton.
Yeah. Taysom Hill, Teddy Bridgewater.
Even
Jameis.
He puts the quarterback in the right situation.
My thing is with Russell Wilson. My thing with Russell Wilson, Fatty, and I'm not taking nothing away from Sean Payton. My thing is, I think Russell Wilson has lost it. Period.
You're not going to see the long ball. You're going to see the short dip pass.
Yeah.
But the stuff that Russell Wilson used to do and get away with, he can't no longer do that no more.
And Sean Payton's going to adjust his system to Russell Wilson's
If you watch that, I watched them Denver games.
Made Bridgewater so good.
But the problem is Russell Wilson's going to drive Sean Payton crazy because Sean Payton expects his quarterback 1, 2, 3 ball gone. Not run around, make plays and all that. Sean Payton
Russ
can't
do like he did. Yeah, Russ can't be Super Bowl winning Russell Wilson where he ran around because that team he had to run on that team.
I don't know.
He's got to be pocket passer.
But I don't know. I don't know if Russell Wilson can sit in that pocket and throw that ball like.
No, he got better at it as his career has moved on. I mean, this guy a couple years ago. This guy was putting up insane numbers. I mean, he was in a bad situation last year. That team, just that offense was bad in so many ways. And I mean, Peyton, if anybody, could fix it.
Can Chris pull up how old he is and what his stats were?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I don't like to get caught up in 1 year because there's a lot of 1 years, because you go look on a football card or a baseball card, there's Hall of Famers that have that one down year.
I know Nathaniel Hackett was absolutely atrocious last year.
Right. I mean, Javonte Williams gets hurt during the course of the year. Their receiving room was a little weird.
They're gonna give Nathaniel Hackett comeback coach of the year this year, and he's an assistant.
Well, he's got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and him, I think it's a great match.
It's funny they say that about Nathaniel. Oh, he was so good when he was at Rodgers. Well, who wasn't when he was with Rodgers? Come on.
I mean, some guys are great coordinators and some guys are shitty coaches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens all the time.
We're trying to run a guy out of town that was with Drew Brees for how many years? Pete Carmichael, really?
Oh, yeah,
come on.
He's 34.
He's what?
34.
And has been beat up, dude.
I'm not a fan of it. I just.
What's his numbers 2 year ago, though? I'd like to look at the last year in Seattle numbers.
He wasn't that good in Seattle, though.
Man, I remember that dude. I mean, if I'm just going on.
Chris, but Dave, do you realize what Denver gave up to get him? Go look at that.
No,
trade.
absolutely. But here's my thing with that Seattle team. When he was there late in his Seattle career, his passing numbers weren't bad. His numbers were good. That team was bad. You didn't have that running game anymore.
Why do you
Remember,
think?
after Marshawn
Listen,
Lynch,
we're gonna do that one week. We're gonna look at that trade and how much better it made Seattle with all the picks they got and everything they got back.
No, Seattle had to trade Wilson. That was a great timing on that trade, no doubt about it. I'm not saying Seattle had a great.
I'm talking about all of the picks to access that Seattle got for him to build that defense and then to build that team they got right now. They wouldn't have been able to do that with all them draft picks.
Well, no, but you got to look at it. Trade's supposed to work for both sides. So, I mean, it's going to work for them in that regard. But, I mean, for Denver, they felt like
with all the what me and Chris is trying to say, and I think we both agree on this, with all the experience that Russell Wilson had, how could he look so bad?
I mean, it happens, man. I think guys can have a down year and they could bounce right back.
You're 33 years old. You've been in the league for over 10 years. Why do you need to be coached?
But here's my thing. People make excuses for, certain quarterbacks around the league who have been mediocre their whole careers or who have been less than mediocre. But here's Russ, who's had this great career, Hall of Fame career up to this point. He has one down year with a team that had injury problems, O-line problems, had the worst coach in the league probably, and it's a new system for him. I mean, so there's a lot of things changing. Here's my thing. Sean Payton will build that dude back into at least a mid-level quarterback. He might not be top 10 anymore, but he'll have that dude playing
what do we expect? But look at the division Sean Payton's in. What are we expecting out of them?
I mean, defensively, there's not a lot of knockdown, drag out defenses there in that division. I mean, I think Denver is the best defense in the division, possibly.
I think Denver's the best defense hands down in the division.
Huh? What's that?
I think Denver's the best defense hands down in that division.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have the best defense. I'm not saying those other defenses are absolutely trash. The Raiders' defense has been kind of.
I mean, look at the stats. His completion percentage was 65%. He threw for 3,500 yards. 18 touchdowns, 11 picks, dude. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's last year?
Yeah.
Okay, what's 2 years ago? That's what I want to know.
2 years ago with Seattle, he only threw 2 years ago. He had a 64 completion percentage with 3,100 yards, which was less. He had 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
See, that's the type of Russell Wilson. But 25 and 6 is a good ratio. The yards were, I mean, if he threw for 3,100 yards, I think what everybody's expecting is the 2020 Russell Wilson. He had 4,200 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, and only 30 interceptions.
But if you look at 30 interceptions, his ratio touchdown to interception is phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big.
He's not a stupid quarterback. I mean, he's not going to turn over the ball. I'll take an old Russell Wilson over
them stats don't say nothing. He looked bad last year.
It shows you his intelligence. I mean, he's not going to turn over the ball.
His intelligence had him getting in arguments with his teammates on the sideline.
Well, Sean,
he was that bad.
It's a different
man. Listen,
Sean Payton's going to run things a little different. Yeah,
you think so? Because I think
absolutely. Sean Payton's got absolute respect around this league.
Those same guys that were talking to Russell Wilson crap last year, I was going to do it again this year. Watch.
Sean Payton won't play that game. Sean Payton, it's a different dude.
I tell you what, I can't wait to when they're on the sideline and one of Sean Payton's guys look at it and tell him shut the hell up. Watch.
Well, Sean Payton will run you out of town if you don't listen. I mean, this is one of the most respected coaches of the 21st century.
Sean Payton ain't running one of them young talents out of town. I can tell you that.
No, but I don't see any young talent that's going to just disrespect Sean Payton for no reason. I think Sean Payton is a welcome sight in Denver. I mean, to me, and the whole thing about Russell Wilson, like Fatty was saying, I mean, he's a smart quarterback. Sean Payton is one of the best play callers in the league.
I mean, Chris, I think they're giving a little too much credit to Sean Payton. I really do.
No, I don't think you give enough credit to him. I think
the ownership already told him shut up his mouth and coach after the comments he made.
Yeah, I mean, the Hackett thing was a little much, but I'm saying I think he's just trying to rile up his team and build confidence. It was the wrong way of doing it, but
he's a legit Hall of Fame quarterback just with the Saints alone.
Go ahead, Noah.
Absolutely.
Bailey Zappi to the Broncos.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
Malik Cunningham. What about that kid that you like, Cunningham, man?
Malik Cunningham. I do like that. I do like that as well. I do not like. I've always been a believer. Especially in year 10, 11, 12, you're not getting better. If anything, slowing down. Your body's slowing down. Unless you're like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Those guys are like a dime a dozen. Russell Wilson's not those guys. Not a bad quarterback. But Sean Payton's been out of coaching too, man. But
you got to remember this too, Chris. 2 years ago, Russell Wilson just didn't go there. Like that was the only place for him. There was a lot of teams in on that Russell Wilson.
Okay, so Dave, I asked you realistically what Sean Payton's gonna do. You think they bring in Sean Payton just to say, hey, we're gonna get a winning season and call it a day?
No.
They want Sean Payton to win a Super Bowl.
No, they're not going to win a Super Bowl, but they're going to be a lot more competitive. I think they'll fight for a playoff spot.
So it's a waste of time then.
No, it's not a waste of time, but I think the problem is this. Let's be real. The AFC is absolutely a nightmare. The NFC is a much closer and easier drive or path to the Super Bowl. The AFC, you got to worry about the Bills. You got to worry about the Bengals. I don't want to sit there. I'm not going to bet on Denver at all. But as an organization, you can't say, well, shit, we got these great three teams. You got to give yourself an opportunity.
So here's my theory. We just said Arizona is going to tank it this year. Why can't Denver tear down?
Denver's got a much better team than Arizona.
No.
Do they?
They're better. They got a quarterback.
Do they?
No. But they got a quarterback to start the season. They got a much better head coach. Their defense is probably like damn near top 5 level. They got Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Dolphins, the tight end, has got a lot of potential. Listen, Denver's not starved for talent. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy to give up on a team based on last year. But it's not.
And Jonathan Grenier. That's the head coach, right?
Yep.
He was a damn good coordinator. We don't know what he's going to look like as head coach.
Right.
I think the guy's off his rocker, but he's young. Let's see what he can do. They're obviously tanking.
Yep.
But during the quarterbacks, obviously Russell Wilson's better than Clayton Tune and Josh Dobbs. Okay.
Well, right.
Williams, James Conner.
I think Javonte, if healthy, will be better.
I don't think Javonte Williams is that great. But
I don't think James Conner is very good at all. I think James Conner looks in the fantasy numbers, and that's why he's relevant in real football.
Judy has never lived up to the Alabama hype.
No, but I mean, he's probably about one with Marquise Brown, and I think Cortland Sutton.
Dave, what we're saying is, I don't even have Denver in their top 2 in their division.
Well, they're in a tough division, Rich. They're definitely in a hard division. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
But why do people say that you're in a tough division? No, you're the coach. Get the team to win and call it a day.
No. I mean, no. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about the reality things. They're in a tough division.
Let me ask you: What if ownership said, "We're trading for you, Sean Payton, but we want you to guarantee that you're going to knock down Patrick Mahomes in this division"?
Well, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, nobody says, "Hey, I want to win 8 games."
What do you think Sean Payton's words was?
Sean Payton's trying to do whatever he can to jack that team up. Absolutely.
If I were him, I'd say I think we need to tank and go get Caleb Williams.
There you go.
And look. Here's my thing. I'm not saying let's be real. Who's to say? Look, if Russell Wilson does stink and some injuries happen, and before you know it, they're like 1-5 or 1-6, that narrative may change. I mean, the plan may change.
I mean, I think Sean Payton should trade for Jameis Winston and bring him as a backup in case it goes bad. I'm just saying,
you ain't going away. Hey, look, if you want to win, I mean,
y'all just said Sean Payton does miracles for Jameis Winston. You know what's the difference?
No, we're not. I mean, that's a little far there.
Than Winston, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's a little far there. I mean,
I tell you what. At this point, I might trust Winston over Russell Wilson.
I will say this. I agree with Dave. Denver's in a.
If Russell was on like acid and like
Chris, you don't deny it, huh? Chris is like, I don't know.
If Russell Wilson was on heroin before the game, then maybe I'll go James. But I
don't think Russell Wilson at his age and Winston are like as far as now. Obviously. Career-wise, yes, day and night.
Ain't even night and day, yes.
Russell Wilson's kind of going this way. Winston's always kind of right here. But I think Russell Wilson kind of meets more of Winston at his level. I think we are putting, and this is just me, and listen, first of all, I want to say I thank Sean Payton for bringing this city a Super Bowl. I'm not, I'm indebted to him, and that's fine. But the reality is, I think Sean Payton is a little bit overrated as a head coach. No,
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because
I don't have Sean Payton in the Andy Reid category.
Let me ask you this, Richie. That year we didn't have him when he got suspended. You went from a perennial contender to a team that didn't even start the playoffs.
What? You have Sean Payton in Andy Reid? No, indeed not.
I do.
Do you have Sean Payton in Andy Reid's category? Really?
Yeah, he's
No,
in that
indeed
same
not.
sentence.
Absolutely not. Not even
do.
close.
Well,
not even a whisper.
Here's my thing.
Argument. It goes back.
Not even a
He's won
whisper.
with every quarterback he's had, even backups. He knows how to coach.
Then what happened to the New Orleans Saints the last 3 years? The floor is yours.
you didn't have Drew Brees.
Oh, whoa.
But you can't win when you can't win. Nobody's. I don't give a shit if it's Andy Reid, Bear Bryant, whoever, Vince Lombardi. You can find anybody in every level of college football, pro football. You ain't winning a Super Bowl with Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton as your quarterback.
A whole different
and whose whose idea was it to bring Jameis Winston here? Your beloved coach.
Wait, okay.
No, he got him for the league minimum. He got him for the league minimum to back up Drew Brees. He wanted Taysom Hill to win that job. I don't care what anybody says. You can mark my words. He wanted Taysom to be the successor to Drew, and it didn't work out.
But yet he wasn't a good enough coach to make Taysom Hill the quarterback that he wanted him to be.
But he's not. But he's not a legit quarterback, though. I mean,
let's call it like we see it.
But Winston,
Sean Payton was the writing. The writing was on the wall. Listen to me. When Drew Brees retired, the writing was on the wall for Sean Payton. I don't care nobody says.
And there's nothing wrong with that, Richie. There's nothing wrong with a guy making a career move after 15 years.
There's a lot wrong with it.
We should tell these guys how to live their lives, where to live. I mean, we're trying to put no stairs in their house. I mean, look, we can't do that. We've got to look. This guy gave us 15 years.
Do you see Belichick rolling out? Belichick didn't roll out when he left.
But I can't blame a guy that gave us 15 years of his life and turned us from like a joke.
But you don't walk out on
the most dangerous teams in the league for 15 years.
But you don't walk out on a team that gave you your first head coaching job.
I don't think he walked out. I think he just made a career choice.
Hey, Parcells did it, and I think he's the greatest coach of all time.
Who?
Bill Parcells did it all the time, and he's the greatest coach ever.
Stop!
I mean, look, Phil Jackson. I mean, a lot of great coaches have left situations for certain reasons.
Bill Parcells.
Chris, why do you keep saying they won this, they won everywhere? That don't mean nothing.
What you mean? It don't mean nothing.
Listen,
Richie,
to me.
what happened when Sean Payton was suspended that year?
I will tell you. Listen to me. I will tell you right now, and people can argue. If you don't put Belichick in that category, you're crazy.
But Richie, what happened though? What happened the year before he got suspended, the year he got suspended, and the year after? Go tell me the Saints' records those years and see how much of a factor Sean Payton was. The year before he got suspended, we were correct.
Dave, you said yourself that Brees is an all-time great, is he not?
Oh, absolutely. But there's no Brees being great and Payton being great doesn't take anything away from the other guy.
But wait a minute. You had one of the all-time, maybe top 5 quarterbacks of all time, and you won 1 Super Bowl.
I mean, look, there's a lot of great coaches
had more 8-8 seasons and 7-9 seasons than you had winning seasons. Do you know that?
Well, look, here's my thing. I think the organization did some bad things. I think other than that on general management as well.
Other than the Super Bowl, and maybe 2 seasons, Sean Payton was maybe an average quarterback.
Huh?
What?
Come on, Rich.
Go look at the Saints records. Go look at them.
I mean, if you pick out anybody's worst seasons, I mean, look, I'm talking about we had a lot of bad luck. Let's be real. I mean, the no call thing, the Minneapolis Miracle. I'm not trying to do any. I'm not trying to make excuses.
Look, even Lance agrees with me. Andy Reid won with Alex Smith at quarterback.
He didn't win a Super Bowl.
He still won with him. He still had a better record. He had a winning season.
Alex Smith is a lot better than who Sean Payton had since Brees retired.
What's the
Alex Smith's way better than Andy Dalton.
Okay.
And Winston.
All right. Well, we're going to jump off the subject because I think we're never going to agree. But I'm a judge. I'm a judge. Me myself. I'm a judge. Sean Payton on what he does in that division. Here we go.
No, I got respect for that, man. I mean, look, a lot has to be said, Richie. I'm not going to bet money on that team, but I think he will make them better. He'll make them credible.
Better could be one more game than the last year they won, though, Dave.
No, they won't be not that better. I'm talking about at least 4 games better.
If Sean Payton, what y'all saying is a great coach, if he wants to prove to me he's a great coach, go win that division in 2 years. How's about that? Let's do that.
That's fair.
Ain't no way, no how. Dave, you agree with that?
Look what division he's in, Rich.
I don't care. So Dave, you don't agree with Chris?
But I'm saying, but you can't say a coach isn't good because he can't beat out Patrick Mahomes.
I'm asking you a question.
That's like saying every NBA coach in the Eastern Conference, like back in the day, Chuck Daly, Lenny Wilkins, they're not bad coaches because they couldn't beat Michael Jordan.
I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying it's not hard for him to do, but do you think he's going to win that division within 2 years?
No, because Patrick Mahomes is there and Andy Reid's with Mahomes, and it's a great situation. I think.
And he made that choice to go in Patrick Mahomes.
No, but look, hey, who cares if you win a wild card and get to a Super Bowl? I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying that's the overall goal for every team. Gets to the Super Bowl. I mean, winning division's great, but get to the Super Bowl. You can do it as a wild card.
I'm not a Sean Payton hater for what he did with the Saints, but I will say this: I can only talk about it now. He will get fired by year 3.
By year 3?
He gets fired.
That's some strong words right there.
We gotta remember all this stuff, man. This is like Poncho's trade Alvin Kamara type stuff here.
He's fired by year 3. He's out.
Richie, we got to do it because this is like Poncho saying the Saints are going to move on from Kamara in like a year. We got to break this stuff down, man.
See, Sean Payton's 56 years old, 55, 56. You got a 34-year-old quarterback. You're going to be in purgatory. You're going to lose about as many games as you win. You're going to be right there hanging around, not ever getting the quarterback you need to propel your franchise to go into the future. This is prime opportunity to do it with Caleb Williams.
So Lance brought up a subject just now, but since we're going to answer these comments because people are diving in. So it says, so Lance is asking, do you think Sean Payton wins multiple Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes?
I could win multiple.
Yeah, absolutely, hands down, yeah. I mean, dude, as great as Drew Brees was, look, Richie, Patrick Mahomes might be the best quarterback of all time already. Like, I mean, I know he just hasn't had the time to do it yet. He just hasn't had the years.
I don't know if Steven's saying that I am smoking that shit. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, Sean Payton in 3 years, just remember that, please.
No. Hey, a guy told me that. Look, it's so fun. Look, I still give a guy crap for that, man. Years ago, man. The guy told me I was smoking that good because I was saying Chris Godwin and Evans were the best receiving duo in 2020. I still give that guy shit over it. We joke about it, but I give him shit about it.
I don't
listen. I'll be the first to say this, and I'm gonna be listening. This is gonna sound terrible, but like we keep saying about these franchises, I wouldn't have been mad if the Saints would have said, you know what, we taking it, we rebuilding, and tearing this thing down, and starting from scratch right now.
Oh, it wouldn't have bothered me after last season, no. But I mean, now
I don't think
it's
Sean
timing.
Payton's your guy to rebuild, though. That's the. I think
he doesn't. He wants to try to save Russell Wilson.
I mean, Dave, do you honestly think Sean Payton was really in it the last 2 years? I mean, I don't.
No, I think once Drew retired, he knew that window was closed. Let's be real. The Super Bowl window was closed when Drew Brees left.
Go back and look and see.
And anybody that thinks otherwise is out their freaking mind. I mean, I know there's some other podcasts that's going to tell you the guy with the stronger arm was going to keep the window open. That was a bunch of baloney. Drew Brees
I just think, and I hate to say about it because look, I know Chris is okay with the Saints. We are diehard Saints fans. I just think that I think it's gonna end bad. I do.
Richie, it could. I'm not gonna sit there and say I would bet money on this. I'm confident in Sean Payton, but I see what you're saying. The mid-30s quarterback. There are some holes. There are some bright spots. But look, let me ask you this. Okay, so one thing that could have been really smart for them to do. Why didn't they trade for Trey Lance?
I agree.
I mean, that would have been a smart ass move to get a guy in the room who could play like Russell Wilson as a younger guy.
And I always bring this up all the time, but I think what you had with the Saints, with the young Sean Payton and a young,
thank you, Lance,
and having a young Drew Brees, young Sean Payton, and the timing is very important. I think where the team is at overall is younger, except for two of the major components, which is a head coach and quarterback, and you need those. That's the heartbeat of it.
Yeah.
I think you're offsetting that pace, and I think the Broncos are now behind because of that, because they're going to waste all this young talent they have, or lack thereof. I don't think they're that talented, but
no, I don't think they're.
What's up, Jared?
I think there's a solid talent level, though.
Fair, that's fair. But
Chris, when you said if they had that younger guy in the room, you would feel better. That's if they would have got Trey Lance for a 4th-round pick.
This is what I've been trying to say. This past offseason, the Denver Broncos wanted DeMeco Ryans.
Yep.
But they lost out on him to Houston.
Yeah.
And they lost out on somebody else too. You can go back and read this. I'm not sure.
Because why? Because Chris, why? I'm gonna let you continue, but I think the main reason DeMeco Ryan said no is because they seen that monster in Denver he's gonna contend with every year.
Well, I think
he really wanted that Houston job, though. He wanted that Texas
He's from Houston. He's from Houston.
Yeah,
his wife's from Houston.
Well, he played in Alabama, but like we drafted him. He was one of the players. I mean, he was one of the he's up there with Andre Johnson.
The man was almost in tears when asked about the Houston job. He was in tears.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was his preferred job of any by far.
They lost out on the Colts head coach, the guy from wasn't it the guy from the Eagles?
Yeah.
They lost out on him. Yeah. So then they automatically diverted their attention to the third best thing, which was Sean Payton at the time. Well, nobody wanted to trade for Sean Payton. But
remember that was a big part of the problem. I don't think Peyton was like just passed over and he was like the last option. I think it was the timing with that trade thing, the first round pick thing.
I think where I'm getting at. I don't know if y'all agree with me. I think I would accept. I would rather great quarterback play and average coaching versus great coaching and mediocre quarterback play. Because if you look at it, Chris, look at the top teams that had quarterbacks, and when they went down, what did that coach do? Sean McVay, Rams. Stafford gets hurt, team falls apart.
But that whole team fell apart there too, Richie. That whole team was a disaster.
Rewind what you just said. Sean McVay and Jared Goff.
No, Sean McVay and Stafford when he got hurt last year.
Let's back it up to Goff because it was Goff first, and they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But look what Goff is doing now.
I think Goff's always gotten a raw deal. I don't understand the raw deal that he gets.
Go ahead.
They kept it young. Sean McVay was 30. Goff was in his early 20s. They were young. I love that marriage there. I think they gave up on Goff a little too early. I personally do.
Hey, Chris, pause for a minute before I lose this comment. Hold that thought, though. My friend Jared he wanted us to comment on what we think about Juwan Johnson's going to have, what kind of year he's going to have.
Huge.
Nice year. Yeah.
Huge. Jared, we think all of us agree.
Touchdowns, I think he'll get around 9 touchdowns, this guy.
He's a huge target, man. I think he might be.
You want to know how good I think he's going to be? I think he's going to be second in catches this year.
That's what I was going to say.
I think he's going to lead receivers, and I think he's going to be the leading pass touchdown guy, receiving touchdown guy. That's what word I'm looking for. Yep. I think he could be that guy this year.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
You know,
Jared, one of our viewers, Jared, he's actually in Denver right now working.
I'd like to know the pulse of the team out there, what people are saying. I mean, because let's be real, their baseball team, the Rocky season's been over for 2-3 months now.
Go find Sean Payton and go, who that?
I think they're still on a Nuggets hangover though, a little bit in Denver, man, more than anything else. But I mean, the Nuggets are rocking and rolling in that city right now. But dude, I think people have high expectations out there with Sean Payton. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to live up completely, but I think they'll be a lot better.
So, Chris, get back to what you were saying about what you were talking about.
Well, so like you said, Jared Goff was young and Sean McVay was young. What was the next team you said?
I
was talking about the Rams. I was talking about the Rams itself. That's all.
So you talking about the Rams after they lost Stafford, after he went down?
Yep.
Well, see, my thing was this, though. I get what you're saying, Rich, but they had a lot of things go wrong. I remember they traded Ramsey.
But my thing is, but people don't realize, I get they traded for Stafford, but they also got bigger pieces, too. If they would have put those same pieces on the team with Jared Goff as a quarterback, I still think they win the Super Bowl.
I think Stafford was at the right moment in his career. Like Chris says, back to timing. I think the timing was right where Stafford was just enough of an upgrade.
I mean, but Chris, have y'all actually looked at Stafford's numbers that year? They wasn't that good.
But Stafford's had a great career, though.
I think
I'm talking about the year they won a Super Bowl. His stats wasn't that good. Go look at him. They wasn't.
I can't pull him off the hand. I mean, I know it wasn't his best statistical season. I mean, it's probably back when he threw for 5,000 yards in Detroit. But that dude had a 5,000-yard season where he threw like 45 touchdowns and 7 picks, not 30 interceptions. So, I mean, his 5,000 was a legit 5,000. And they got to the playoffs that year, I believe, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this dude's had a great career. I mean, Matthew Stafford's he's had some hell of, his stats.
To me, the guys I think and don't get me wrong, we can dive into this for another day. I just think certain coaches make players different. Case in point, I think Doug Peterson has made a tremendous difference with Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think from where they came,
and by the way, I thought that's who should have been our head coach. I still say that.
Look, hey, no, Richie, I'd rather him over. No offense to Dennis Allen, because I mean, if he's watching our podcast, but I would have preferred Doug Peterson.
Yep.
Wait, what did you say? No offense to Dennis Allen, because what?
If he's watching our podcast tonight, but Doug Peterson would have been my preferred.
I doubt he is.
I hope you are watching it. I think you're a much better defensive coordinator than you are offensive head coach.
Listen to me. I think, and even Tom Brady said this. He has Dennis Allen of Tom Brady's NFL career. He said he has Dennis Allen as one of his toughest defensive coaches in his history of his playing career.
Dennis Allen was an elite defensive coordinator the last few years with Sean Payton, in my opinion. I mean, but as a head coach, he's still got a lot to prove, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And he's got 1 year to do it. He's only got 1 year to do it. This is a one and done for me with him. If he doesn't make the playoff, he's gone.
Would y'all agree with this? I think Dennis Allen going into this, when he was given the head coaching job, thought that the offense was going to remain the same because of Pete Carmichael. And I don't think that's what happened.
Look, I think Carmichael deserves a lot more blame than what people are giving. I think Allen is not a great head coach, but I think Carmichael deserves a shit ton of blame. Let's put it that way, because there was the play calling was awful last year. Even though you had you didn't have Drew Brees back there, but still the play calling was so stale and predictable.
Yeah,
you know?
I know Dave is probably going to give me heat on it, but I think your GM deserves a lot of heat.
Absolutely, I agree.
Drafting quarterbacks early on.
Yeah.
In these drafts.
Lance can't stand Pete Carmichael.
I wasn't even born yet, I don't think, when that happened.
What's that?
When the last time they drafted a quarterback in the first round?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. But there have been so many opportunities. But then the Saints do crazy things like they trade number one picks for future number one picks for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So you have no quarterback to go.
Right. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Trade the first round pick the year they went ahead and got Marcus Davenport, and here's Lamar Jackson.
That was such a bad pick. Davenport was such a bad pick.
Why?
He was, Richie. I mean, it's a shame because the guy's not the worst player out there, but what you gave up to get him and what you passed up makes it so much worse. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you go look at the
awful football player, he's not the worst guy out there in the field.
If you go look at the defensive talent that was in that draft, we could have done way better.
Yeah. Right, and that's the thing, Richie. Like he's not a terrible football player.
I thought about the draft this year. I thought about the draft this year, and I think the Saints missed out on a lot of defensive talent that's in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Jalen Carter. I mean, I think they could have went after Hendon Hooker, the quarterback, at some point.
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith's another one, yeah.
When everybody zigs in the NFL draft, it always seems like the Saints
zag. Yep, I agree with that.
So why did they do that? Now, I'm not saying they don't come out with a few little gems here and there, and they do have some good drafts.
I honestly can't remember. I think Reggie Bush is the only draft pick that I can remember that all the fans knew the Saints was going to draft, and they did. I can't remember nobody else.
Oh, that you could predict? I mean, Ricky Williams.
Yeah. Well, I didn't predict that because they gave the whole draft.
Yeah. No, I'm saying once they did. Well, I mean, yeah, it was like that's the thing. Was that on draft day or before the draft? I can't even remember.
Yeah. So listen, guys. Let's dive into it right quick before we've been on for a while now. Let's dive right quick, maybe for 10 minutes or so on the fantasy segment. I drafted over the weekend. I don't know if Chris did. Dave, I know you said you didn't. I don't know if you did. So, what was your most surprising first-round pick in your draft?
Travis Kelce going 4th overall.
He went fourth in my draft too.
Wow.
He went fourth in my draft. And here's my theory on this. People don't realize this. I think people are drafting Kelce as a receiver more than they are a tight end.
Yeah.
Well, don't get Dave started on that.
I know. We had a crazy. That's a whole other show on that. Yeah.
That was a whole other show, bro. And we had that to me.
And my dynasty team, I got that kind of.
Well, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I've got that philosophy on my dynasty team a little bit. Chris knows we've had that conversation.
Well, my first 3 picks, I'm in a PPR league, and it's 2 points per reception. I was amazed because the guys I draft with, I'm not taking away from nobody else. The guys that I draft with are veterans. We've been drafting since it was on paper. These dudes are serious. And I wind up, my first 3 picks was Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Ahmad St. Brown. That was my first 3 receivers.
Wait, Amon St. Oh, wait, that you got those guys?
My first 3 picks. That was my first 3 picks.
So wait, Amon St. Brown went in the 3rd round?
Yes. I got him on. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that dude's a top 8 fantasy receiver, man. I just that's nuts.
Yeah.
People are leaving a lot of these older wide receivers like Devontae Adams sitting there.
A lot. I agree with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Devontae went the 3rd round in my league.
That's crazy. And how many players? We're talking about 10 or 12?
10.
Okay, maybe that's a little more.
And I tell you, it's shot. I took. I don't know why, dude. Because I was on the 7. What was it? 10-man league, and I drafted 7th. And guess who my first pick was? And I'm shocked myself. And I hate to say it on this TV. I mean, I hate to say it on this show because I'm going to get nothing but shit. Oh, if I say it, y'all going to laugh. And I'm going to hear it all year.
What, Bijan Robinson?
Yep.
Oh,
Bijan? That's
yes.
You know the thing about Bijan? It's
Bijan's Falcon
got
hating
so much
but
potential.
had to take the talent that was there, and I was so mad at myself.
Let me ask y'all this though. I'm a believer that Tyler Algier is going to eat into his fantasy value a little bit, though. I just honestly believe that. I don't think Algier is going to disappear like the fantasy writers, like the dorks that are back there trying to like do super numbers crunching and all that stuff.
Don't be mean.
No, but you know who I'm going after. The guys who draft like Corey Coleman and Samaje Perine early because the numbers checked out.
I tell you another guy that'll rely on in the redraft leagues. A lot of guys are dependent on Gibbs being their second running back on their team.
I mean, like you, Richie, I think you even said it before. Gibbs may have the better season. I think he's in a little better situation for himself.
I'll tell you right now, Chris, when we draft on Thursday night, I promise you Gibbs won't make it out the second round. I can tell you that right now.
He shouldn't, Richie. I don't think he should. I think he's in a great situation with Detroit, you know?
He won't make it out the second round, I promise you.
No, I'm saying, but if anybody watched Tyler Algier last year, I know how talented Bijan is, but you can't tell me that Tyler Algier is not going to have weeks where he's getting 12 to 15 carries if he's the hotter hand. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I think they acting like Robinson is the greatest running back to come out in 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. We're already calling this kid Barry Sanders, and
I don't see it.
He's pretty good.
He's good. He's good.
Oh man, I don't see it. I guess I don't know.
Here's my thing: is Tyler Algier ran for 1,000 yards last year, and he did it on 4.9 yards a carry. So it's not like it was bogus yards. And we watched this dude just dismantle the Saints defense. I mean, he had guys flying around like a
wow. Man, Jared just commented his first two picks was CMC and Nick Chubb. Who you drafting against?
Hey, but Nick Chubb, no, but I've heard like Chris was saying about the Devontae Adams, and Nick Chubb's are falling a little bit.
Jared, first of all, you had to have a high pick to get Christian McCaffrey. So where did you get Chubb's at? Where were you picking at? I would love to know that. That's a combination you could kind of like look at like, wait a minute.
He's picking in the top 3.
I mean, he had to be to get on that.
You got to look at it. They could be somebody could win Bijan, somebody could win Josh Jacobs. You know what I'm saying?
What's
you
up,
could have had
Gary?
4 or 5 receivers easily go. Kelsey could have won.
Noticed in dynasty drafts, I had one over the weekend that was pretty unique, where a lot of people were going younger.
Yeah,
and leaving a lot of Devontae, Tyreek Hill, Aaron Jones.
Wow, he said Christian McCaffrey dropped to 6.
Whoa, nice.
I need to be in that draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to take Jonathan Taylor out of the situation as well, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess so. I mean, that's.
Come on, Chris. 6? Come on, dude. Really? Stop.
Wait. So if he got McCaffrey at 6, that means he got Chubb.
If he got McCaffrey, unless it was a heavy receiver draft.
Well,
so you're getting Chubb around 17, 18?
People are going wide receivers.
Dude, I agree with you on that. This year, I haven't seen receivers come up the board so fast in all my life.
Way fast. And I don't get it because there's a big scarcity when it comes to running backs.
Yeah. Receivers are a dime a dozen after that top 4, in my opinion. You know,
wide receivers out there. People are drafted like.
Listen, one thing I never do, and I think y'all agree, but one thing I never do is tell somebody how to do that draft. I don't, because everybody's different. Listen, I drafted 2. Listen to me, and this ain't no joke. I drafted Saturday with the same people, just 2 different drafts, and I drafted 3. I drafted 3 receivers the first draft, and I drafted 3 running backs the second draft against the same people.
I think you just gotta let the draft come to you. You know, you just gotta let the draft come to you.
Go ahead.
How much prep do you do before the draft?
A lot.
Really?
A lot. I analyze. What? I thought that's why I'm gonna smoke you. That's why I'm gonna smoke you. So I'm gonna smoke.
No, but
I tell you what. Listen to me. I tell you what, Chris.
Hold on.
I'm not saying I can get it 100% accurate. I'll be able to tell everybody who they drafting, and I'm gonna write down the first 2. I'm gonna write down the first 2 rounds, and I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna go.
Let me tell you how you're wrong, and I'll explain this to you. And
okay.
I hit on it just a minute ago. I never planned for a draft because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Somebody's gonna do some stupid shit.
Well, the way I do it, Chris, is I analyze it to where it has to go in my favor.
But
Chris has got a good point.
Meaning, my guy, I do every scenario. I ain't joking to you. I do every scenario with my top picks.
I'm not doing that because you still don't know what that guy's going to do.
I know what guys. I know what guys I want to go with. Which, if this guy's available, I know who I'm taking after.
Who you feel a certain way about. But like Chris said, I like the idea of letting the draft come to you. That's all you got to do.
Just let it come.
You know.
Now I have a method I follow, but now if somebody comes in,
that's what I'm saying. I don't tell people how to. I don't do that.
No. I don't care how you. I want everybody to draft.
But when I tell you, I analyze it, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, the guys on the truth. And the guys that we drafted that's going to draft against us are in my leagues, been in my leagues for 10 years, and this is no fib. This guy, Jay, you can go check him out. He already logged in. He's already accepted it. Jay is one of the best guys I've ever drafted against in my life. He is in the champ. He is in the okay. Well, you gonna see. You gonna play against me. Me and him. You ain't got a shot. You ain't got a. You gonna okay.
I'm not conceded. But Dave,
where's the draft order?
How many leagues have me and you been in, Dave, where I have won the championship?
No, Chris has got some championships, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been the bridesmaid more than I've done anything else. You know,
the reason I tell people about drafting, and I'll invite you. I'll invite both of y'all if y'all want. Y'all can come to our draft next year. We invite new guys every year. And they leave the following year because they said it is too difficult. When you deal with a salary cap, it's a whole nother ball game.
Oh no, look, Richie, I've been dying to play in a salary cap league.
So when I draft in leagues with no salary cap, oh my god, I can do it in my sleep.
Look, if we could do salary cap in this league, I'm all for it. I'd love to do that.
Is this just dynasty or regular redraft?
This is just regular redraft league. That's it. No salary, no nothing, no position.
I'd love to do salary cap.
So you can go with it. You can go with it. But what I mean by this is I'm not taking none of it. I haven't drafted against Chris, so I can't say how good he is, can't say bad. So I'm not one of them guys. But I've been doing this for 25 years. And the guy we're drafting with the guy we're drafting against Jay, I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, what in the hell? How did you know this? I'm telling you,
but Richie, here's my thing, Richie. I will not listen to Chris knows this. I curse fantasy writers repeatedly because I think it's nice. Let's be real. It's 50% skill, 50% luck. I'll say that till the day I die with fantasy because I've seen some guys that aren't great football guys win fantasy leagues as far as knowledge goes. And I've seen some guys super smart never won one.
3 years ago, I was honored, and I can find it. If I find it, I'll share it with y'all. 3 years ago, I was honored to have an invite to join the NFL Network in their draft. And I came in third in that league. And let me tell you what, them guys like, whoo, I was like, holy moly, dude. I was in all of these guys' picks. I'm like, okay, yeah.
See, now you got me more excited than I was before now for this draft, man. Because now I like it. We got the
letting you know. Yeah.
Well,
I tell you what, I'm telling you what, I know how good Chris is. I know how good Dave is. I know just based on fantasy talk, which I've done. I've seen the trophies. I'm telling y'all right now, this is the best group of guys drafting that I could have possibly put together. And I ain't joking.
Well, listen, I know you're wrong because you're already we could have done without.
I'm going to let you know right now. This is going to be pretty amazing, dude. I'm telling you, watch.
I wish we were live for this draft, y'all. I wish we were live where we could talk some serious shit.
There is one team on here, the Prisoners, that's probably all they're going to be is prisoners.
Oh, wait.
You're going to see. That dude is going to eat your lunch.
I know who that dude is, though.
You know who he is?
Yeah, that's on.
Oh, we know who the Prisoners are.
That's Poncho.
Oh, God.
See, that's why I think you already got to get straight.
Well, that's why I wish we were doing this live somewhere. We
had to add Poncho to be nice, you know?
Oh, no, but hey, it would be so good.
He's going to draft all Saints players.
How many teams?
10. Yep. And we're gonna comment, man. It's gonna be fun. Like I said, we're probably gonna do a fantasy segment maybe tomorrow night if everybody's available.
I'd love to kind of recap our fantasy drafts on here, man, for sure.
Can we do it live on the?
I'm gonna see if Fatty can do that. I'm gonna see if he can, and people would love to see it.
Like put us over here.
He might be able to share it. If I share the link with him, what I'm gonna do, I could probably do it on my page. What I could probably do is I could probably share the link from my iPad and have it up and just be the screen. You know what I mean? I can do it from two different devices. Go ahead, Fatty.
I will not be available tomorrow night. I have
Thursday night.
Thursday night, I am available.
Okay.
Okay. Me and you will talk about it, Fatty, and see how we're going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just tomorrow. I'm not
If it's
available.
possible. If not, it's okay.
I'm drafting for my work.
Listen, thank you again. Thank you again, Fatty. Listen, if y'all don't know this, Fatty is our producer. He is amazing. Does all this behind the scenes stuff. And listen, share your page right now while we got it up. I'll tell you that every time. Share it right now. Y'all got to check us out. It's called Bayou Geeks. They on every you can watch it every Sunday. Give them the details, Fatty. Give them the details, Fatty.
Actually, this week, I'm going to bring it up.
Go ahead.
Have our writer for the comic book In Danger, John McCarthy, a good friend of mine. We're going to have him on the show this week, Friday at 7 p.m. at the Bayou Geeks YouTube page and my personal Facebook page.
There you go, man. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And listen, as always, guys, let's send a shout out to 504 Paints. That's one of our sponsors. Make sure if you need any paint, anything, go see Mr. Dave Robin over there.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
Fatty, I noticed your picture there. That's Bray Wyatt?
No, that's me.
That's him.
Oh, okay. That looked like the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
It is. I had that mask made.
Oh, okay.
Dude, we need to do a wrestling pod. Yeah, I saw Fatty was a big wrestling guy. We need to do a wrestling podcast.
Not anymore. Old stuff I am.
That's like us. We're old school.
Listen, we always wanted to have Dave and I tossed the idea. We always wanted a podcast called The Rear Naked Chokehold. And it was just covering, all kind of wrestling, AEW, WWE. We were just kind of nerds into it. I mean, I still keep up with it from time to time, but
I go back. My favorite World Class back in the '80s, the
Kerry Von Erich, the old dum
the auditorium in Dallas. That's
sir.
The stuff I missed.
Look, somebody needs to come out dressed as Kabuki or something, man.
Look, that was some of the cool. I was a kid in the '80s. I was like 8, 9 years old when it was all on, like 84, 85. And that was some of the best times because they would always come on in New Orleans on Sundays at 10:30. And me and my mom would sit up watching it. That was the only night I could stay up late to watch World Class and Glow after.
The Glow came on afterwards, dude. Yeah.
Good show on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah. Hell of a show.
Well, listen, guys, we're going to sign off here in a minute. Like I said, I always want to send a shout out to people. Fatty, if you wouldn't mind sharing that flyer for NOFA again before we sign off. Listen, this page right here shows, it's for a good cause. It's called Casting for a Cause. If you want to get some sponsorship, please reach out to No One Fights Alone's page, and you can talk to Chuck. You can talk to Blair. They're board members. They founded the group. It's really for a great cause. I appreciate it. Thank you, Fatty. So listen, guys, we're gonna dive in. Me and Fatty's gonna dive in and see if we can do that draft live Thursday night. Okay. So we can put all this to rest on who's the best, but we all know who it is. But that's okay. I was drafting when y'all were in diapers, I mean, just to let y'all know, Here he goes. Man. Look at that.
You got that off.
Man, you need to quit buying stuff off Amazon.
Woo! Look at that. Dave, you remember that, huh?
What's that?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, goodness. Y'all bringing up titles now? Come on.
Oh, my God. H-Town. Look. Beat that. Well, listen, thank y'all guys. It was a great show. Thank the viewers for joining us with the comments. And listen, make sure everybody please like and share the page, the Down South Sports Fanatics. We appreciate it. Check us out on YouTube. You can check us out tomorrow. The link will be up on Spotify if you want to listen to it on your way to work. These guys are wonderful, man. Look, they're dear friends of mine. I appreciate everything, man. See y'all Thursday night, brothers. Y'all have a good night.
Let's do it.
All right, brother.
Who dat?
Later.